So I think troubling has come to my attention and it's worth mentioning. So, there's another type of bot in TF2 which I think technically already existed in a different form. But the problem I'm sort of having with it is the implications of what this means. And the fact that it's done something so fucking abhorrent that at this point it still doesn't surprise me. Like, literally just doesn't. So, there's a post on the TF2 subreddit, merely not reliable source, but in concept it still tracks, and that's the worrying thing. The fact that it tracks is a testament to how bad this situation has gone. Just to preface this, I am pro Save TF2, but the problem is nobody's really looking inwards. And I think sometimes the best critique is self-critique, and that's important in a lot of situations. And that's just some general life advice. So one thing I wanted to talk about was AI and stuff. Whether it's generated media or AI in general, what it's become now. It's a big topic and it's concerning. Yeah, and what I mean by this is how out of hand it's gone. So maybe a year or two ago now we started seeing things like Dolly and I forgot what the other one was. They're just making these crappy AI images. I remember when I was going around and it turns out there was a bug in the code, so that was why they turned out so shit. So the second implementation turned out well. And this is only what I've heard, it's not exactly researched, I'm just going off what I've heard. And then comes along all these other AIs generating images, which is a concern because actually it's not the sort of thing we're used to, and I'm a skeptic, obviously, of virtue making this and talking about it. I see its uses, but the way it's being used is really bad. I said this in my Mastodon post. There needs to be regulation, and the fact that we didn't get it sooner is basically proof that we're doomed. AI is just going to get worse, and we can't really do anything about it. This is why people are saying that we need to keep physical things intact. This is why I've got fucking physical books, a guitar, a sketchbook. I need these physical hobbies because in the event an AI uprising results in, say, a fucking EMP or something, at least I've got a backup. And that's a huge thing. Because even then, there's always a chance for like solar flares, if anyone knows about that. Some solar flares can apparently be bad enough that they disrupt satellites and also electronic devices in general. Just imagine that. So the fact that things could just be fucked up like that in a mere few seconds, or minutes even, possibly for good, I don't actually know what happens after. Just shows that we're too reliant on technology as well. And it's something that I really want to distance myself from. Like, for example, today, I actually visited a nice location and I did kind of enjoy it. Got me out, got some exercise, got some vitamin D obviously from the sun. I was wearing a jacket, so I don't get much technically. Yeah, and I got some good pictures as well. And that's pretty. Is it invaluable or valuable? Which one it is, but basically it means a lot to me. And that's something you just don't get from being online, and that's the problem. This is why I think, again, like the self-critique is important. If your lives are just online, then you're not really gonna go very far. Even then, I say this as someone who has pretty much no friends in real life, bar a few. It's not going to be easy going outside, and it never is for me, especially with anxiety. But you do need to do it to an extent. Just find something that works for you, like even if it's like going to a restaurant by yourself, enjoying a meal, just do that. But back on the topic though, of AI, it's definitely rotting our minds, and I've noticed this myself actually. I've seen it spammed everywhere, and there's even more horrifyingly, there's even AI comments now, and actually someone I think discovered this month, as soon as it happened actually I think, there's apparently AI generated accounts going around on social media, specifically targeting Pride Month posts, just typing negative shit, which leads nowhere. And that's concerning. Again, and this is what I said, the more you pry AI, the worse it gets, and this leads on to like capitalism and stuff, because even the corporations are just grabbing onto this stuff now and not really giving a shit. And that's a fucking scary place to be in now. Because when CEOs or whatever get their hands on AI, they'll stop replacing people with AI. Like, mainly we have this scare with like self-checkouts in it. I don't think it changed much exactly. I don't remember, I was growing up when self-checkouts were a thing, but as far as I know it didn't change anything because you needed to employ someone to work at the self-checkouts anyway, and that just admittedly probably made one person lose a job, but that it's not significant exactly. It's significant across the whole spectrum, but that just only means that you need more people to work there. Because these things go wrong, and that's what I mean by relying too much on digital media and stuff. Like, TV's cool and all that. I like TV. And movies, not cinemas. Cinemas fucking suck. Sensory overload. But TV and stuff are good, but there's better things out there. And that's why people like to see live bands, for example. Because you get to see them in person, you see them as humans, and I didn't really get it at first myself. I used to hear people going to live concerts and think, God, why? And even tribute bands. You could just listen to them at home, can't you? But then you realise that it's better to see them as humans and not just these fucking people who made a song. Like, trying to think of a band I watched live, like online at least. I've seen Hell Sun live a few times, online obviously. Uh, Guns N' Roses I did see a few actually. But yeah, it's like there's something missing from AI, and that's obviously the human element. I brought this up before in my last discussion about it. It's a hellscape when something can't even be considered human when it's generated by a computer. And even then, I remember like I quit Divine Art because they were promoting AI and not allowing you to block it. Not to mention that apparently they non-consensually sort of made you participate in AI by default. And apparently they removed that, but even then, I don't want anything to do with that, so I left. Not worth it. All my stuff is gone from there. I gave people a chance to preserve it, but I don't think my stuff is worth preserving anyway, so that's why I left. Deleted the account. Yeah, with AI stuff, it's just a mess. Corporations jumping on it, they're making stuff that replaces the stuff that we were toying around with like a year ago or so, like DALL-E and stuff. Now we've got Stable Diffusion and that shit. And again, I see a use in AI, just not for the layperson. That's my honest opinion on that. Like, it might be fun for you to like look at something like, say, Shrek riding donkey as an AI generated prompt. Yeah, that's fun. But it's like, you could ask someone else to do this, you could ask someone to make it. Someone to make it is much better because it leaves out mistakes, it allows more creativity. Because AIs generally follow a format. From what I know of them, they base themselves on a model. So when you input a prompt, it sort of puts that together into a layer and makes it into a sort of readable image. And you can't necessarily tell an AI to get Shrek riding a donkey naked, hots around Smash Mouth for some reason in the background. Trying to think what else. I don't know, like Puss in Boots being scared of him for some reason. Just something bizarre like that. You couldn't get that with AI. It wouldn't generate that. And that's what I mean. It's not in a good phase at the moment for generating images. Because it's just a model. And the model is like the same thing in real life. Because that's what a lot of art is based on anyway. It's based on models and reference and stuff. That's what I do mine on as well. And like, yeah, some of us copy, but not all of us do. And that's the thing. But an AI is much worse because it is just copying. And that's another problem that not many people are talking about. So yeah, obviously AI are going to start spreading these like illegal but explicit things in TF2 like they are doing now, hence the Reddit post. I'm already fed up with it. And this is just one post. There was some actually a while ago. Yeah, and the fact that this is even happening and this is a thing means it can only spread and get worse, and at some point Valve is just not going to be able to do anything about it. At some point though, we're even going to see like AI start to be able to, say, get into like games with captures and stuff, because they can figure out captures. Even though this shit actually, like the Google one is terrible. I've had to do all that because of VPN. The Google ones are just broken, so I don't think any AI will beat that if I can't. Yeah. But this leads into the final thing about this larger issue and the bot crisis and AI and stuff. It's the mindset of players, whether you're stands or angry fans. It's just a problem with the community and their reluctance to move on. I said this in my previous TF2 video, and it still stands really. You kind of expect a big company like Valve to care about a game that's obviously given them money. So it's probably just time to move on. Like I already have. I've started playing Final Fantasy 14. I hope when that game dies, it has legacy servers and stuff, or maybe a community run. Like World of Warcraft had that issue actually. Players miss the old game so much that they create their own servers. So yeah, that sucks. But they won in the end, and that's the point. Even if TF2 dies, it needs to have a legacy and it needs to have a way to sort of stand on its own, despite no updates or whatever. And the other thing is like, because the situation is so severe, you have to expect people to do stupid shit like review one other game, although I'm debating whether that's actually a bad thing because in a sense it's another Valve game, it's another poster child, I guess you call it, that they have to deal with and moderate, that they have to make sure it's a good game. But yeah, the more attention Valve get, the better, I think. I could be wrong. But this is how stands are created, really. like not being acknowledged, not being neglected is just, yeah. I forgot to explain what Stan is. Like, I'm sure people are not aware of what it is because I wasn't a while ago before I heard the Eminem song. Stan is like a fan that's, I think, super aggressive or something. I didn't actually get the definition. I'll look that up. This is Sam, a stalker. That's a stalker and a fan. So yeah, that's pretty much what it is. And these exist across a lot of communities actually, not just TF2 or actually even Genshin Impact has its own stance, but it's even like game journalists that get this as well. I know they're kind of a joke, but it's just creepy as fuck. The fact people go to these lengths. And also, the fact people go to these lengths sometimes just speaks to a larger issue, like, is a problem that we as a society have, like, we've pushed them there. And not many people acknowledge this, like, as far as I know. Because everything's really complicated. Mental health is a complicated thing anyway, and illness for that matter. But you need to self-critique and try to accommodate other people and stuff. That's why I think there's so many stands. Where you get so many people obsessed with things like being the best person they could possibly be. Power mindsets, like power ego, I don't know what you call it. Power hungry. That's probably it. It just surprised me a lot of my dating experiences and stuff, like meeting various people, mainly women, who have been in shitty relationships and they're quote unquote powerful men, boyfriends or whatever. Like the only reason you're even finding there's a problem in that relationship is because you've looked for the most aesthetically pleasing rather than the most emotionally pleasing. So that's a problem. It's weird how similar it is to actually gamers and their games. Like, it is a relationship of some sort. And the way I view the games I play, sometimes like Genshin and Honkai is like love hate. Final Fantasy 14 is definitely love. TF2, the current situation is love hate. I also think the game is like a skill issue. Ironically, coming from someone with a skill issue, but I mean that because you have so much experience and other players do, they end up dominating the match and it becomes a one-sided thing, hence the teamwork is a delusion thing, and hence why I made the video about whether TF2 is a game anymore. Basically it's a cash cow, it's not a game. Obviously the bots probably are the cash cow anyway, so it doesn't matter. As long as they got people buying the premium and giving them valve money, that's all that matters. Yeah, I forgot to mention the AI stuff. I think the reason people are making these bots that are now selling illegal / explicit content is because they're trying to save TF2, but they're doing it in such a ridiculous way. And also, they would force law enforcement to get involved because if anything actually comes of that, like someone has bought something illegal, and the investigation leads into Valve and these bot makers, then yeah, that's going to actually get them in trouble. That would actually make them responsible. So in a sense, it's genius, but in another way, it's just sad. And I don't even want to go into what the fucking illegal thing could be. It's it touches on trauma, to be honest. I don't want to talk about it. It's not the floor. Tissue. That's timing. How I got there. Anyway, I think that's all I have to talk about. I'd like us to move on. I didn't talk about that much. Yeah, again, that ties into relationships with games. I think you need to be prepared to move on with games, and similarly with like beliefs actually in real life, and also like the past and mistakes. Just need to learn to move on and carry on, as the saying goes. Is that saying? I think I'm mixing that with something else. Move on and carry on. That doesn't sound familiar. Yeah, it's a sad situation, sad day. So much that can be done, and it's just pointless at this point. Yeah, I think I'll end it here. I'm not going to do any sort of fancy editing or fancy video. I'm just going to do like a stock video thing that I made. Yes, I actually made the clouds. It's technically using other brushes, but oh well. I can't draw for shit. I can't even make clouds, so yeah. I might actually try to make it in the future though if I get good enough. So yeah, that's all for now. I'll probably post something in the comments if there's anything else to add. So yeah. See people in another video discussion maybe? I don't know.